Hello, everyone. We are now live, and I would like to welcome you all to Words from a Black Woman Experience. And I would like to introduce my guest, Miss Carlisa Thomas, and I would like to thank her for being on the show today. Now,
Thank you for
you're
having me.
welcome, my dear. Now, my show, Words from a Black Woman's Experience, was created to shine a light and give a voice to Black women and the experiences we live. I am a writer. My name is Cherlnell Lane, which I forgot to introduce myself at the beginning, but my name is Cherlnell Lane. I am bearing my soul to heal yours. And the name of my company is Cherlnell Lane LLC, where we help you use your words. I created this show, Words from a Black Woman Experience, because I feel like as Black women, we are sometimes seen as the same person. We are all also seen as stereotypical. And I feel like we all can learn from each other. And even though we have similar life experiences, we have different perceptions. The same things can happen to us, but we experience them differently. Um, so that's one reason why I called it Black Woman's Experience. The other reason is because I feel like I wanted to focus on a woman instead of women, was to give that woman the chance to share her story, share her lessons, give lessons um, by herself, give her the space to do what she wanted uninterrupted. And this is also a space for Black women to be who they are, boldly and unapologetically. Um, and yeah, so we're gonna get right into it. This is episode 4 and our first episode of the new year. Thank you guys for joining wherever you are. I am so excited to get into this. So, our topic for this evening and the title of the show is Purple Tears. So, we're going to get into the meaning of purple tears and what it's about with in just a moment. But first, I would like to give a proper introduction to or for my guest. As I stated before, our guest today is Carlisa Thomas, and she is a mother, chef, entrepreneur, lupus and domestic violence survivor, and advocate, an author, speaker, and philanthropist. After being diagnosed with lupus in the 8th grade, Carlisa became a champion for the cause and began educating not only herself, but others about the disease. Carlisa had a entrepreneurial spirit at a very young age and saved her summer job paychecks to open and run a candy store. She has always used a portion of her earnings to help people with lupus and their families. Carlisa went even further to make more of a difference in the lives of lupus patients by starting her own organization, Loop Us, in 2011. Loop Us mission is to bring this mysterious disease and those who suffer with it to the forefront, and thus provide lupus patients with the support they need to stay healthy and maintain a positive outlook on life. Carlisa followed in her mother's footsteps and fell in love with cooking. Her passion for preparing delicious food led her to Johnson and Wales University in Miami, Florida, and the Walburn Culinary Institute in Chicago, Illinois. Carlisa courageously left her marriage where she had suffered years of domestic violence and joined all of her skills and passions to start her own catering company, Purple Ribbon Chef, in 2012, with purple being the awareness ribbon for lupus and domestic violence. Everything had come full circle. Carlisa has used her voice and platform to give back to nonprofits throughout the Chicagoland area, like the Southside Community Arts Center, Chicago Defender, and Chicago Housing Authority, to name a few. She also decided to add small business to the list of her to to this list due to her knowing firsthand how difficult it could be a small business owner. Hosting events where small businesses could gain exposure for their brands yearly through her tasting, hosting entrepreneur meetups, as well as sponsoring catering services for two small businesses each month. Carlisa's dedication to creating unique and delicious food with a touch of advocacy has awarded her amazing opportunities in the culinary industry, from working with past White House chefs to serving some of Chicago's most influential. The Purple Ribbon Chef has found a unique way of keeping the conversation moving forward in a positive light about lupus and domestic violence through her culinary creation. In October 2018, Carlisa debuted her first book, Purple Tears, a domestic violence journey. In Purple Tears, Carlisa takes you on a journey through her healing while allowing you to walk through yours. Excuse me. Carlisa has dedicated her life to helping others get through this sometimes complicated thing called life. She is the definition of a warrior. Carlisa has gone through a cocoon of pain to come out a beautiful butterfly. I introduce to some and present to others no other than Carlisa N. Thomas. Hello, my
Hello,
dear.
hello, hello. Thank you for that awesome introduction.
Yes, I try. I try. So, we like to talk connections here. So, our connection is that I have worked with you on so many projects, with you in so many projects. I have taught classes for you. You've done classes for my events. You know what I'm saying? Um, what am I forgetting? You've been a long time listener of my written work, my spoken
Oh,
work. You know what I'm
okay,
saying?
okay.
Um, what am I forgetting? Oh, you've been getting on my nerves
Hmm.
since you were born.
Oh, okay.
How is that, people? Because she's my little sister. Even though most people don't believe it, she is my little sister. Okay, I'm the oldest. All right. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Had to get that off my chest. Had to get that off my chest. So I am glad to know her. I'm very proud of her as my little sister. She makes me so proud in everything that she does, except get on my nerves. And I'm glad to have you on my show. This is awesome. because I know that you are such an amazing person, and I know that you do what you do from your heart, and you give and touch so many people with just your amazing words, your
Thank
amazing
you.
skills, your amazing art. She had my twin, Miss Journey. She had my other beginning to look like my twin, Mr. CJ. You know what I'm saying? So she had my kids, and I appreciate her for that, um, because they look like me. Okay, so now back on the topic. You wrote a book called Purple Tears, and you also fashioned a purple power hour from your experiences with domestic violence.
Absolutely.
Um, so we've titled this, well, you've titled this Purple Tears, this episode. So
Mhm.
is that connected,
Is it connected to?
the book and the Purple Power
Oh,
Hour?
absolutely. So, when you were talking to me about what you wanted to do here and speaking about women experiences, um, I immediately thought like, I have so many experiences that people could learn from, that whatever it is, I wanted us to be able to speak on them and to talk about it, not just choose one thing, because my life is not just one thing. And you hear that from my bio that you read. The people that know me, they know that from my life. And when I think about that, I think about just my purple tears, that struggle that I've had to go through to get to where I am, and the continual struggle that I will continue to have as long as I'm here on this earth. I just revert that back to my purple tears, because as you said, in 2018, I published my first book. This year the second book should be out, and which is going to be entitled Purple Tears as well. And that's going to be my lupus journey. And I relate all of that to purple, and everybody know Purple Ribbon Chef, because of me being a lupus and a domestic violence survivor and advocate. The colors for those things are purple. And even before, those colors were purple and they were a part of my life, I've always known purple to be royalty. So that was always, a favorite color. So, to have that as a favorite color, and then to have these things come into my life where it's represented by that color, that put hope into those situations for me, because I did not necessarily go out looking for these things to happen in my life, but me seeing, the same way you see a rainbow at the end of a storm, me seeing that, okay, these things that I'm having to deal with relates back to royalty, relates back to my favorite color. I feel like that in itself has always given me strength to keep pushing, to keep going forward, because it shows me that regardless of whatever it is that I'm going through, I'm going to come out victorious. So,
Absolutely. That is definitely some deep and beautiful words, because I think that as survivors, and that could be survivors of anything, but specifically as survivors of uh, lupus and chronic illness or domestic violence, or I think that a lot of times, especially in the beginnings of it, it was seen as a death sentence. It was
mhm,
seen like,
mhm,
all as people get this, they're no longer here. It was no
mhm,
middle ground. I think that shining a light that not only can you survive this, you can conquer this, and there is another side. Like you said, there's another side after you have this, that you can live, and even with, like you were saying, with domestic violence, the same thing,
mhm, mhm,
um and I think that's even important, because there are a lot of women and men who may be watching this, who may be in a situation, and they're like, I can't get out of it. I don't foresee anything beyond
This moment.
this.
Mm-hmm.
So your story is just really powerful, and the reasons you do it is just really powerful. So we're gonna back up a little bit. Well, not back up, but continue with some questioning. I ask everyone, what is your favorite quote?
Of from myself.
No, from somebody else.
Oh, just favorite quote.
Mm-hmm.
Period.
Yes.
Everything that always pops in my head when I'm just thinking about life or anything is to everything there's a season under the sun from the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
That just lets me know that like whatever it is that I may be going through right now,
Mm-hmm.
that won't last always. And I like the way, in different Bibles, whether you read which version is going to say different things differently. But I like the season version and just that Bible in general because it kind of breaks things down to layman terms for
Mm-hmm.
anybody to be able to understand. We know, at least into these last few years, because sometimes it be up in the air with these seasons with global warming. But typically, we know we're going to have, especially here in Chicago, we're going to have a winter, summer, spring, and fall. You know what I'm saying? And
Yes.
typically that's within this certain amount of time. And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes you may have to go through some of those storms. And, I think about my time in Florida and then dealing with hurricane seasons and different things like that. And just the weather is just such a testimony to life and things of that nature. And taught me, going there right out of high school. And, people were talking about it, and I talk about it a lot. Like my aunts from Georgia and Georgia family would be calling when hurricanes hit. And I'm like, oh, we having a hurricane party. And I think it was our ignorance because we were so young at the time. Like our
Mm-hmm.
school did those things to kind of like not make us stress about something that could be so major. We
Right.
had to be locked in, we had to be all of this stuff, but all of that was just like a revelation to me, of how like it could be this storm on the outside, but it's about what you're doing on the inside that's going to help you get through that, regardless of
Absolutely.
if I sat in those moments and I worried like everybody else worried and maybe
Mm-hmm.
not partied and maybe not had fun with friends and did these things. That next day was going to be the exact same thing. Like the outcome
Mm-hmm.
was going to be the outcome.
Yeah.
So I I I rather go through life, coming up with a plan to get through something than to sit
Mm-hmm.
and woe it's me and to
Yeah.
sit in grief and stress myself out, because I feel like those are the things that take us up out of here before even something else can take us out, whether it be a storm, whether it be a disease, whether it be domestic violence. We can stress ourselves so much that we take ourselves, eliminate ourselves from situations.
Right. Yes. Definitely. That is a good quote. That's good. Um so I guess my next question is, take us back a little bit. I spoke a little bit about it, about your origins, of how you got involved in everything. Tell us a little bit about your backstory, and then bring us up to how you started writing Purple Tears, how you started Lupus. Just give us your experience.
Like I said, I feel like Purple Tears does not necessarily, and bear with me, y'all. Journey did my nails. She was playing with them for New Year's Eve, and y'all see like them popping off and stuff. So I'm up here, looking like what was this, scissor hands? That was scissor hands. Some of them, some of them
Yes.
scissors, some of them off. But anyway, and then I talk with my hands a lot, so that's why I needed to tell you that, because you're gonna be like, why she got on two nails? What is she doing? What is Carlisa doing? Okay. But anyway, I feel like my Purple Tears is not just my situations with domestic violence or lupus per se. I feel like
Mm-hmm.
it's my whole life wrapped up in a bundle to help me get to where I am. really quickly, as many people know that know us, I'm the second child of a single mother who had children, three girls, one boy. Um, I, always felt like, and you all can vouch to this, that I was the second mom in the house. You know what I'm saying? I felt like I ran things, Um, and we joke a lot, and people, say a lot, like, or even I've seen y'all get upset with how I react and everything a lot. But I feel like my root of that was never to be bossy or to run stuff. I just saw all my mother was doing, and I wanted to help her, you know? And I feel like that came off as, me being grown before my age. It came off as me being thinking I'm everybody mama. Because I just wanted to help my mother, and kind of whatever load I could take off her, I wanted to take off her. And, it wasn't just, being bossy and things of that nature, picking up the cooking that now is my life. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
Making sure, um, my siblings, you all had help where I could help out. You know what I'm saying? Solomon is about to be 20 this month. And, oh, I don't want to start crying, but I remember, you had him your senior year. And I
Yeah.
remember I was a freshman in high school, and I had to carry him. Me and Honeybee was laughing about this with him, because it's funny, but it's deep too,
Yeah.
because that's who I am. And I remember carrying him on my chest. I take him all the way to 87th Street to school, and then I had to come back to 79 to go down to go to Simeon.
Yeah.
Um, and I didn't feel obligated to do any of that. It's just that I wanted to help my family any way I could, because I saw my mother, you know,
Yeah.
working so hard and to provide for us. And then, once you're getting older, you see what it is that she took you out of, and you see what your life could have been.
Yeah.
And like that's what pushed me and motivated me even more.
Mhm.
So that's how I feel like, I'm the loving, I'm the giving, the forgiving person that I am today. I did have to learn how to, that people are users, and how to cut people off, because, I was like, I was so shocked when I finally cut off, this group of people that I kept allowing to get back in my life, because I'm just like, I was always thinking like, because my mom is so sweet, she'll forgive anybody. And I remember when I finally like cut these people off, and I was just done, you know, about 4 or 5 years ago. And my mom was like, about time. And I was like, what? You didn't want me to be doing this? They're like, no, I don't know what and I'm like, I'm talking about that people be WWJD. I'm WWED. Like, what would Ernestine do? I'm trying to,
Right.
what would Ernestine do? Holding on to folks. And she like, I was trying to figure out when you was going to figure it out. So I feel like that was a big moment, in my life about five years ago. And so, and that's really when Purple Ribbon Chef took off. That's really when Lupus took off. All of these things came up from, I feel like, that upbringing of me being so loving, so giving, as I got sick with lupus, and you talked about this, and lupus and other autoimmune diseases, they're really hard to diagnose. We don't look sick. Our body could be fighting itself, and it could look like a tornado inside of us, but we could look like beauty queens on the outside. You know what I'm saying? The only thing that I used to be able to tell a lot of us, when we were really sick, if we had to go up on prednisone, because you had this prednisone face, you get big, all of us kind of look the same, as far as that. And that depends on how sick you were, if you needed to take a lot of steroids. Um, but when I was diagnosed, it was only looked at because my mother had already been diagnosed. Well, our mother had already been diagnosed when we were younger. So when, I started getting this swelling out of nowhere, going to rheumatologists, they was like, okay, well, we want to look into this, since, it typically, at that time, it typically doesn't run in families, but we'll look at this, whatever the case may be. And, I was just a person that firstly, because I had saw how strong my mother was. And I feel like that's what is the deciding factor on stuff, on everything. I saw how strong she was. I didn't take that as a death sentence because I'm like, this lady is getting up, working every day, taking care of folks. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm not going to sit here and mope and cry and pout and, you know, that somebody is telling me that I have the disease, because I remember being at the clinic when with her when they told her that she had lupus and she had to tell us. And I remember like thinking like my mama is gonna die. Like, you know, and because you know we were younger and all I could think about is because you know y'all know we used to watch that Beaches movie all the time. I'm like, I'm not gonna have my mama gonna die, oh my god, you know. And praise God, we just hit 2021. She's still here today. This is when we were little bitty somethings, you know. I came out of 8th grade in the year 2000. It's 2001. Come on. So I felt like that really built me up to research what it was that I was going through, that my mother had been going through, and to educate others, because I could say it back then. This is year 2000. You could say it, and it's like, what is that? And then being young and in high school, once I got to high school and things like that, I'm like, you know, I don't want people to be like, oh, what you get, or you sick, and you know, all of these things. So every time I had the chance to do a paper where I picked the subject, that was the subject, because I wanted people to understand what it was that I was going through and what it was about. And you know, with lupus, it wasn't prominent back then, and I was the only one dealing with it at the time. But now in my graduating class alone, it's 4 people, 4 other people that I know of that got diagnosed, and they came straight to me because like they knew what I had went through during high school, you know, and they knew that I was an advocate and stayed an advocate for it, you know. And then friends of friends that ended up being diagnosed with it. And I was able, because I went through it at such a young age, and most of them we were adults or you know, late in the teens when people started getting diagnosed with and getting sick with it. I was able to kind of walk them through that process. And a lot of them have told me like I was that person, like how my mother was to me, I was that person for them because they never saw me give up, you know, and they see me keep pushing on every day. So that strength was put into them. And that's why, you know, when we were talking about quotes that I like for myself, you know, I know you probably gonna get to this, but whatever it is in my life, whether it be me being an entrepreneur, because people know I'm always picking up my phone, like entrepreneurship coaches have become a thing. I've been running my businesses for 8 years now. And just, you know, giving out free information. People want to come to something, you know, people want to pick my brain, whatever it is, as long as I have the time for it and it's not taken away from something else, I don't mind sharing what I've known. But now, you know, with this being a whole career thing for people, it's so hard to find genuine people that want to help other entrepreneurs and business and things of that nature. And I've always been that person because as I learn something, I want to teach the next person because I see that that was not done. It's happened a lot more now, but it was not done within the African American community. So I my goal was to wherever I could share, wherever I can lend my expertise to see another African American become a business owner, to get connections. Like, you don't owe me nothing. I want all of us to come up. And it has been so amazing to see a ton of the new business owners that were just my Facebook friends, my high school friends. All of these people, when I was starting a business, it wasn't cool to be an entrepreneur. Everybody was had 9 to 5 jobs. I was trying to find a way to come out of a 9 to 5 job because my lupus was not allowing me to get up to work and take care of a family, you know? So I knew out the gate when it wasn't cool to be an entrepreneur that I had to do something different. And I love that God used me to kind of go through some stuff so then that I could sow those things into other people's lives. And like, it lights me up to see these businesses being successful, getting the big clients, all of this stuff. And they like, I remember when they called me and was like, well, Carlisa, how you do that? Well, what made you want to do it? When you had left your job? Like, it blows my mind. So that's what I say when I mean, like, my purple tears is not just lupus, it's not just domestic violence, it's everything. It's, how I was raised, seeing a strong single Black mother. It was how I wanted to educate my people. It's how, I went working, at a job for people that could care less about me. Like, I know people, are saying it more now because they see it, because we're in the middle of a pandemic. Literally, you won't be warm in the ground, and somebody else is there to replace your job. But what we've been taught is to go to work mostly all of our lives, and by the time people retire, they be out for a year, maybe 2 years, where they enjoy it, and then they gone. And some
Yeah.
people don't even make it to that. They die on a job,
Yeah.
just over broke. That's what they die on, just making ends meet, trying to make ends meet, not enjoying life. So I feel like, and I say this all the time, and I know all of us are doing this, but like, we're dying every day. Like, every day I knew that I because of what my ailment was, and me researching lupus, and me knowing literally one day I could wake up and this thing can say, I want to attack your heart, I want to attack your kidney, I want to attack this, and you can be gone. I've lived my life differently, to where I'm like, I'm going to live life, because tomorrow is not promised. I feel like the whole world now is kind of living on that, even though all of us know that as surely as we live, that we're going to die. All of us know that, but I think this pandemic kind of put it in our face and was
Mm-hmm.
like, yeah, this COVID-19 is taking people out in 2 days. This COVID, and this is what I've been dealing with my whole life. And yes, I've been able to do more things, experience more things. I still have hurt. I still have pain. Like, I've had lupus since I was a kid. That did not exempt me from being in a domestic violent relationship. That did not exempt me from losing jobs. That did not exempt me from eviction notices. That did not exempt me from trying to go and sign up for heat assistance and food stamps. And that, it didn't exempt me, because I can't be like, well, I got lupus. No, woe it's me. I had to get up and I had to live life the same way that we're all finding out that we have to still continue to do now in the midst of a pandemic. You know what I'm saying? And that's my purple tears, I guess, in a nutshell. I've been here doing my businesses for 8 years. We've survived even during this pandemic. I kind of posted a few weeks ago, looking at my sales for the end of the year. We are down over 60% from our previous year. We had already been down from the year before that. So last year, we really expected to go really high, because at the end of last year, I know but people may not know, like, we got a whole lot of corporate clients calling from out of town, just having us at big stuff. I was like, my first job, 12 years old. Don't tell nobody. They put us down like we was 16. But we was responsible. We was responsible. I was an usher at Soldier Field. Last September, I served all the VIP, Purple Ribbon Chef. Like, that, like, blew my mind. You know what I'm saying? And these people literally travel the country doing these fests, just looking for people in different cities. They could have just called me in just to be a little vendor, like, okay, give out a little bacon. No, I had a whole spread, whole section doing the VIP. Like, what?
Yes.
Huh?
Yes.
The beginning of this year, being involved in NBA All-Star Weekend. Then I had, huge events that was lined up through the spring with huge domestic violence organizations to be a part of their organization fundraisers and different things like that, that ended up being canceled. But I was like it still blows my mind that people find me. And I'm just like, where you find me at? Oh, somebody has said this, this, and that. And it's like, mind blown. Mind blown. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely am not where I would like to be, but with the huge businesses that had to close during the pandemic, I consider myself blessed to still be saying that Purple Ribbon Chef is still here. I consider myself blessed to still be in the process of doing what I can for lupus survivors through Lupus. Consider myself blessed with Carlisa and Thomas, you know, to still write the books. I was able to launch the Spice line. I was able to launch the Spice line. I had extra downtime. I was able to rest. Like, I feel like people miss that. And, you know, especially, you know, we talking to women, we're talking to African-American women. You were talking about these stigmas and what they think of us and how all of us is different. If I can stress nothing else, like I used to feel guilty about sleeping past a certain time or getting a certain amount of hours of sleep. And I feel like God literally was like, 2020 was the year of rest for some of us. Like literally a pandemic had to hit for some of us to slow down, because if we wouldn't have slowed down, we would have burnt out. And I have burnt myself out, even with lupus, because I'm still a one-woman show. I can have a million independent contractors, and my sisters can tell you this. I can have volunteers, I can have whatever, but it still is like I need to learn how to relinquish some things and responsibilities so things can run more smoothly, because all of it is in my head. So if I'm not doing it, it's not done. And I'm still this one woman show. And I'm still like, okay, I need you to do this. I need you to do that. And then if you got people that don't know what they're doing, then you over them doing this and you over them doing that, and you want everything done right. So I feel like what my revelation was in 2020 going into 2021 and beyond was to rest, to not feel guilty about resting. I have literally not left out the house since January 1st. And I'm talking about literally like just open the door January 1st. So outside, like in my car, drove somewhere the 31st. I have been in the bed all weekend. And I started some shows. And I watched some shows. Like, cause I was fit like 5 years behind on shows. Like, I'm this
I'm 5 years behind. It wasn't nothing. I just didn't feel like watching them.
But no, seriously, like if that's something that I can like with business, I know especially when you're starting out, you may not want to like, cause you like my money, gotta make my money. That was the hardest thing for me, transitioning from a regular job to entrepreneurship, those steady checks coming in. Oh my God. When you gotta get something paid, like I'm used to them steady checks coming in. So anyway, in the first place, I feel like God was telling me to leave the job that I was at because they were on BS in the first place, but I was used to that steady paycheck. So I had to get pushed out. Oh, okay. I got pushed out, and I knew not to go back because it was already something that had been given to me, so that I needed to get out of that situation in the first place. But then when the money funny, baby, when you want to go fill out, I haven't updated a resume, and like literally CJ was 6 months old when I stopped working at my last place that I worked. He's 8. He'll be 9 this year in May.
That's a
You can't tell
blessing.
me God ain't good. And he
That's a
will put some
blessing.
things in order so that you can get some things in order.
Yes, yes. Well,
Absolutely.
I want you to take a rest right there.
Thank you. Thank you. Because
Catch
I've
your
been doing
breath, because we got some of these comments. Take you a
Listen, we got
sip. So we're gonna go back a little bit.
comments. We
Huh?
got some comments.
We got some comments. They been commenting over here. So we're gonna start with Elisa. She says, hey. Then we got a whole bunch from Natalie Battles Reed.
I wonder who that is.
I wonder. She says, "That's facts, sis." Then she says, "Thank you for always helping and being there for us. And you still are." And oh, she said, "Baby, you have to cut people off." And
Mm-hmm.
then Jaleel sent us a message in Jaleel language. I don't know what that is. Then Natalie said, "I stay educating people on lupus.
Mm-hmm.
We don't win until we all win."
Absolutely.
Come on. All this is Natalie. Then we have an Ernestine battles. We have to help each other. Yes, I have seen them. Natalie, yes, God. Natalie, God. Ernestine, that's God. Do your work and it is already done.
Yes, yes.
Yes. Christian says amen. Natalie said, "Yes, you do, God." And then Natalie says, "Come here, speak your truth." And then Natalie says, "God will help you walk away when it's time."
Yes, he will.
Yes, He will. So, my next question for you is, oh my goodness, this time has passed. We've been gone and talking and stuff. But I guess one of my final questions for you is, if someone is going through your beginning, right? And of course, it doesn't have to look exactly like your beginning, but whether that be going through illness and they're just beginning, whether that be going through domestic violence and they're just figuring out this is happening, whether it be someone just starting a business, whether it being a child having to uh, go through an illness, which is a whole different ball game, right?
Mm-hmm.
So any of these things, or even like you said, just trying to take on things because you saw what your mom was doing and you wanted to help her or be like her. Um,
Mm-hmm.
any of those things. If you were talking to someone who was there in any of those spots where you were, what would you tell them? What would be your advice to them?
I feel like in all of it, every last single one of those things, choose you and what's best for you.
That's a word.
Um, I feel like with going back to, me feeling like what I needed to be as a child, I had a lot of, situations with me um trying to be that person and to step up. I love everything that I am for all of that, that position that I put myself in, but it also got me slapped in the mouth a lot. You know what I'm saying? As we all talk about, because my thing was I didn't like disrespect. I don't care who it was coming from. And I wanted my story to be told. I felt like I needed to defend myself by any means. I feel like as I have grown, um, and from like even what my mother would tell me then, she would always tell me like she was never upset with me or thinking like and knew that people was lying on me or whatever. Her issue was that I wasn't listening to her in those moments because she was gonna brush it off or whatever. But my thing, which I felt like went into my life with, different relationships and things of that nature, was a feeling of disrespect and that I needed to defend myself. And as I got older, I realized the same way my mother was telling me when I was younger that she was the person that was going to be the one defending for me. But I kept getting myself in more trouble trying to speak up and talk. Is how God has told me when I was older, like, I got this. Like, I'm going to fight for you. You don't have to say nothing. You don't have to do nothing. And he was trying to teach it to me when I was younger, with my mother being that person who was going to protect me and to fend for me. And I just felt like I had to fend for myself, you know? And I never wanted to blatantly disrespect her, but it was disrespecting her. And I
Yeah.
feel like that's how we disrespect God, you know, by when he's then told us to do something and we still trying to prove a point to people that's just
Yeah.
like us, that bleed like us, that's going to die like us. Like, leave it alone. My thing is, like, leave it alone. Like, I was looking at one of these Christmas movies on one of the stations, and it was the old actors we had, like when they was on Nickelodeon, but they grown now, and they was going
Mm-hmm.
back to high school. And the girl was telling them they was doing stuff, you know, that kids doing high school, but she an adult now and went back and she got her memory, and she like, but why you care? Like, we don't even need to do that. Like, so many people have died and are not here no more over something that wouldn't have mattered 5 seconds later if everybody
Absolutely.
would have walked away, if
Absolutely.
nothing was said, if you would have let go, let God, let go, let your mama, let go, let your daddy, let go, let whoever, and left that situation alone. And you know, I want that to go into adults too, because I still see it. People my age still be doing stuff like that. And I be like, mind blown. But it's like, you so mind blown because you've got the revelation already.
Yeah.
Because if you would have stayed on the same path you was on, you would have been still doing the same thing too. You know,
Mm-hmm.
you don't have to address everything. You don't have to address everything. Let sleeping dogs lie. Like, whatever they gonna do, let them do it.
Yeah.
Let them do it. Cover yourself and you pray for your protection. If nobody is coming after you to harm you physically, leave that thing alone. Leave it alone. That's like, and that's what, by doing all of that, you choose you, because
Absolutely.
stress can kill you.
Absolutely can.
Broken hearts kill you. Like, I had a stroke, literally had a stroke.
Mm-hmm.
My baby wasn't even a year old yet. Cause I'm going through, coming out of a domestic violent relationship, mad cause this person that moved on, mad cause this person disrespected me, mad cause lost my job, mad cause all this other stuff that didn't matter. But
Mm-hmm.
if that would have took me from my babies, then my babies wouldn't have had no mama. Cause I'm over here
Mm-hmm.
stressing
That's
over
true.
nothing.
Yeah.
Over nothing, I'm stressing. We gotta let it go. And I'm not saying that it does not come up. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I've been fighting for my life my whole life. That's what I always say. I've been fighting for my life my whole life. And in fighting for my life my whole life, like, that doesn't mean I don't have some days
Mm-hmm.
and times where I still get fearful.
Yeah.
And then I have to pray that thing off of me because I get too deep in it. Sometimes I get too
Mm-hmm.
deep in it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And this pandemic was one of those times, and I had to get myself up out of it, being scared of COVID-19. And I'm like, baby, you've been living with lupus and seeing people die around you your whole life. Get it together. When you leave here, that's when you were supposed to leave here. That does not mean do nothing stupid and be reckless and all of this stuff. Because, like, that's what my mother taught me. Because I remember we ask these questions, and I see people on movies and stuff ask these questions. Now they're like, well, I just started watching that Game of Thrones thing, and the man was saying that. He said, if their God is so good, why they let them cut off your husband's head? And people say, well, how the devil tipped him in the back. Oh, your God's so good, go jump off that building. He gonna tell you, you don't tempt God. You don't tempt situations. You don't go put yourself in the middle of COVID and be like, oh, I'm covered. No,
That's a word because there's
he
some
didn't. He
people.
didn't. He didn't tell us to be stupid either. He didn't tell you to be stupid.
I be trying to tell them.
So my thing is, though, choose you. Your health is priority. Mental health priority. Physical health priority. The one thing that all of us can agree on that they're not saying out here with COVID-19, is work on your health, boost your immune system, doing all of these other different type of things. They talk about a vaccine, they talk about this and that and this and that and all of this other stuff, and it's super hard for somebody that has an autoimmune disease, because all that means is like a lot of time our immune systems are overreactive, and it being overreactive can cause harm to your body and internally as well. Like one of the stories I saw, and I know we ain't got a whole bunch of time, but it was a guy, he was a physical trainer. He was too healthy. So he died from COVID. Like they was trying to get nutrients out of his body. And that is, a good way to explain autoimmune diseases and stuff to people, and it was like, you can be too healthy as well. They was like, he had too many electrolytes in his body. He had too much going on, that the system became overreactive and started shutting stuff down. And that's what happens in our bodies with lupus.
Yes.
So we can get sick very easily. We can have all of these things happening. Everything is in moderation. At the end of the day, choose you. Whether you a mother, you still got to choose you. Whether you a business owner, you got to choose you. Whether you in a domestic violence situation, choose you. Whether you sick, whether you healthy, whatever. At the end of the day, you got to choose you, because if you not good, if you not okay, you can't be okay for everybody else. And that was one of the biggest revelations that I had to come to, because I like y'all know how hard I go. I want to make sure my family's straight. I want to make sure my kids straight. Literally, the last few years, I've been making sure Carlisa's straight, and I don't feel bad about it.
Yes.
I don't feel bad about it, and I'm going to continue doing it. And that's my advice for anybody going through anything.
Awesome. We have people saying self-care too. Get healthy. Come on. Tanisha said, love your strengths, authenticity, and transparency. You are the shero to many. And Natalie says that's 1,000% facts. Before we leave, I want you to give us your social media handles, give us all the places we can find you, any events that you may have coming up. And yeah, so let us know.
So everywhere you can find Purple Ribbon Chef. So purpleribbonchef.com, Facebook/Purple Ribbon Chef, Twitter, Purple Ribbon Shy, Instagram, Purple Ribbon Chef is a little underscore in between each word. Same with Carlisa and Thomas. On everything, Facebook, IG, Twitter. I'm going to try more this year. A goal for this year is to try to start making sure I'm more consistent with posting on all of the pages. I used to do like the some Hootsuite, where it can post on all of them and different things like that. But then I started adding so much, y'all. So I'm gonna try to post more on all of them. But you can always find Carlisa and Thomas, purpleribbonchef.com. You can get to me any of those ways. So as I said, the book Purple Tears: A Domestic Violence Journey is out. We are going to be republishing the first one, republishing it, going through it, making some changes, republishing that one. Two will be out in May which is Purple Tears: A Lupus Journey will be out in May for Lupus Awareness Month. And this Saturday, I am like the event queen. Y'all know I was always doing doggone events, but COVID, we had no events. So we're going to start back up. The first one is going to be a virtual event. We are going to do our vision board event, our annual cupcakes and cocktails event. With that, we're going to be delivering the cupcakes and cocktails to your door. Everybody would provide their own supplies for the vision boards, but we will be delivering the cupcakes and cocktails to your door. If you get your tickets for that, that's on the Purple Ribbon Chef page. That's on Carlisa and Thomas page. The events you can purchase through Eventbrite. I'm going to be selling tickets through Saturday to make sure, through Friday, I'm sorry, to make sure everybody can get those tickets. And then just to be on the lookout, we're going to try to slowly ease our way back into doing small in-person events as well as some more virtual events this year to kind of keep us on the radar. We're going to be adding some more of our spices that we've been working on to the spice line. We started with 4 in July. So we're going to be adding some more spices to the spice line, and kind of playing with that a little bit. We have some other things, some other products in the works because it's like we're a product society right now. I'm not doing a lot of in-person stuff, but we definitely can get these products out here to you all, something that I always planned on doing but just didn't have the time to do. And then we still renting the photo booth out, and we are doing that literally low contact, coming out, setting that up for you, and coming back, giving you your flash drive with all of your pictures on it. We got the digital packages, and we do have the printer packages if you want that, renting them starting at 3 hours, and you can go up with however many hours that you need. So we still, have some stuff out here for your events. We still are doing baked goods. A lot of people have still been buying cupcakes from us, cakes from us, cookies from us, brownies from us. So we're still doing those type of things, and some private small events as well. If you want us to provide food for something, we can definitely deliver. We're not doing staff and different things at this time, but as we kind of move on within a year, we want to start back getting into some of those because we definitely want to get some of our people back to work. We definitely want to get some of our people back to work.
Awesome. I'm all for that. Awesome. Awesome. Awesome.
Thank
Well,
you.
we thank you so much, Carlisa, for being my guest, for coming and sharing your experience with us. Just quickly, you can catch me at Cherlnell everywhere. It's at Cherlnell. That's Cherlnell. Coming up next week, because don't forget, now words from a Black woman's experience is every single week. Woo! Ba, 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 ba. On Mondays at 6 p.m. on YouTube and my Facebook channels. So next week we have coming up Miss Dion Victoria, and I cannot wait to get into a conversation with her and hear about her experiences and learn from her. On the 18th, we have Miosha Thomas of Local Color Art Studios. I was gonna mess out on that all the way up, but Local Color Art Studios. I love her. Both of them are very, very talented artists, and maybe they'll teach me how to paint well. I don't know. I don't know. They taught me how to paint, but
Well, I can
well,
say you be trying every year for your
I
birthday.
mean, I got a little something, but I said but yes. So join us for that, and I thank you guys so very much for tuning in. Remember, you can catch this on the replay. It is posted on YouTube. So please send people there to check it out. Please share, post, and continue to comment. And that's it for us. Thank you so very much.
Thank you for having me.
You're
Bye.
welcome. Bye bye.